Hey, it's Jessiara. You've reached my voicemail. I'll catch up with you in a bit.
Hey guys, it's Jessiara. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel if you're new. So this is just a quick intro. There is going to be none of me appearing in the video. You guys can hear Amara in the back. I'm not going to be in the video at all. I look bummy today, so I decided not to film an intro. But I hope you guys can accept the intro like this. This is just how I edit my Instagram photos and my Instagram stories. A lot of you wanted to see it. So I hope you guys, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Step 1, your feed. So before I get into showing you guys how I edit my Instagram photos, I just wanted to show you guys my feed before and after I started using the preset and the editing styles that I use now. Or I didn't have a specific way of editing my photos, I just edited it specifically based off of that particular photo. But now I have a cohesive preset that I use and different editing styles that I use. So let me show you guys how I do that. Step 2, presets. So the preset that I use is from this YouTuber. Her name is Tashi. I love her feed and I brought her presets. I will link it down below where I bought it from, but I'll also be showing you guys alternatives as to how I edit my photos, not just with the preset. So I'm just going to show you guys my feed and what it currently is looking like. I'm working on it. It was not the best at the moment, but this is what I'm going for. I stick with the same colors, the same tones. It's mainly fashion photos that I take, outfit photos, selfies, mirror photos, stuff like that. But this is what my feed is currently looking like. So the app that I use to edit my photos is Lightroom. I've used a bunch of others and I don't like them as much as Lightroom, so I highly recommend you use Lightroom to edit your Instagram photos in. So I'm just going to show you guys the preset that I use. It's called Soho 4. This is before and after. I'm just going to show you guys a few examples of some photos that I've taken with and without the preset. Okay, now getting into how I actually edit the photos, I'm going to show you guys what the preset looks like and how I adjust the preset because it doesn't work with every single photo. So the preset that I use is called Soho 4. I just edited it as Soho Filter so I know what it's called, and as you can see it's a bit too intense for my liking, so I just go in and adjust it. So as the background of the photo is quite dark, I wanted to play around with the light, so I go into light and I just change the exposure of the photo to make it a little bit brighter and to make the white of my outfit stand out a little bit more. So as you can see, I'm just playing around with the exposure, making it a little bit darker, and then I'm changing the highlights and the whites and the darkness of the photo to make, as I said, my outfit stand out a little bit more. Then I go into color and I just play around with the vibrance and saturation. I don't like my poses to be that saturated. I like them to be a little bit black and white, but not black and white exactly. So I turn the vibrance down quite a bit. I'm just playing around with it here as you guys can see, but I turn the vibrance down quite a bit and I turn the saturation down. Not so the photo is completely black and white, but so it has a little bit of color. And then I go into effects and I want the photo to be grainy, but not that grainy. And here, as you can see in clarity, it just makes the photo details stand out a little bit more. It makes the details of my outfit stand out a little bit more, but I just like the photo to be quite grainy and really sharp. So I go to texture and sharpening and I turn that up quite a bit so you can see the details in my outfit and in my face. Now I'm going to show you guys how to edit without the preset if you don't want to get it. So I go into light and make the exposure a little bit darker. As I said before, it's the same as the preset but without the preset itself. I turn the contrast down as well. I don't want the colors in the photos to stand out at all. Then I go into highlights, turn the highlights all the way up so the whites of the photos stand out. Shadows down, whites up, basically everything but the exposure you want to be bright. So with exposure you turn it down, and with the whites you turn up, and the blacks you turn down as well. It just depends how you want the photo to look, but with this particular look I wanted all the blacks in the image to be dark and all the whites in the image to be lighter, if that makes sense. And the same thing with the color in the photo. I'm just playing around with the temperature and the hue, but I wanted there to be not that much color in it, so I turned it so the temperature is a bit more blue than it is orange. So I make the vibrance low so you can't really see that much color, and I turn the saturation down as well, but I'm just playing around with the image. It doesn't work with all photos, let me stress that. You just have to play around and see what works best for you. And just like the preset in effects and detail, I turn the texture up, clarity up, just so you can see the details in the photo. But as I said before, each to their own. Not all photos look nice with this different effect, so play around with it, see what looks nice. But for me, I like when my image is quite grainy and quite saturated with sharpness, so you can see the details of my outfit. And as I do fashion photos, I want you to see the details of my outfit. If you're doing something like a selfie, which is what I'm going to show you how to edit later on, you're going to do it so much more different. So once that's all done, I just went back in and played around with the whites and the darkness of the image, and this is what I came up with. It looks similar to the preset, but you don't have to get the preset to come up with the same look. Okay, now I'm going to show you guys what it looks like with a selfie. I added a preset on my selfie, but I just played around with it, and I really like how it turned out. So this is before and after using the preset, and I'm going to show you guys the same thing, how I get my selfies to look like this without the preset itself. So similar to the fashion photo, I like to turn my exposure down, and I like to bring the whites and the brightness of the photo up and the shadows and the blacks of the image down. But for this circumstance, I turn my shadows up because I wanted the photo to look a little bit lighter, as this is a selfie and it's in golden hour. So I wanted you to see my makeup a little bit more. So as you can see, I'm just playing around with that a little bit to see what works. And then for colour, I still wanted you to see the melanin in my skin, and I wanted you to see the colours in my makeup, but I still wanted the vibrance to be quite low, so I turn it down to -9, and I turn the saturation down just a little bit as well, but not too much where I look black and white. And the same thing for texture. As this is a makeup photo, a selfie, I didn't want my acne to show through, so I didn't turn the texture up that much, and I didn't turn the grain up that much either, compared to how I did it in my fashion photos. But with the sharpness, I wanted the photo to be pretty sharp, so you could see my makeup and the details of everything in the photo, like my jewelry, my makeup, my eyebrows and my hair. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys another example of how I edit my fashion photos without the preset. So as you can see, I didn't want to include the sky in this photo because the sky was a bit mad. It was doing up too much brightness. So I just cropped the image where you could see mostly my outfit, and I go straight in with the light and the color of this image just to play around with it so I could focus on the brightness and what I want to stand out in this photo. Particularly, I like the leather jacket and my hair, how dark it was, and the jeans, so I wanted that to stand out mostly. I didn't really play around with the light that much as the photo was quite bright. The main thing I wanted was it to be desaturated, and I wanted the vibrance to be down. But as you can see, once I done the color, I went back in with the light, I turned the exposure down, I turned the highlights down as well because I wanted this photo to be a bit moody. And then I go in with effects. I do the same thing like I did in the first photo, turn the texture up, I turn the clarity up as well to play around with it, and I made sure that the photo was quite grainy and sharpened as well, so you can see the details like my shoes, my bag, my jacket and my hair. Okay, so now that I've showed you how to create Instagram photos, now I'm going to show you guys how I do my Instagram stories. So I use this app, it's called Unfold. I paid for the premium, so I get all the presets and I get like all of the different effects and the different fonts and just the different highlights that it comes with basically. So as you can see, there are so many different presets and templates that it comes with. You can see that it works with basically anything. I love this style most in particular, the digital one, so I'm going to show you guys how I do that. I just imported 3 of my most recent photos and I just play around with the layout to see which image looks good where basically. Now that I've done the layout, I'm just going to play around with the background. I mostly do neutral colors, but I'm just showing you guys all the different colors and textures and patterns that it comes with. I decided to go with something again quite neutral because that's just my style. So once the layout's done, I'm just going to put some text. I just wrote how I edit my Instagram photos. I just play around with the fonts, and there's quite a few to choose from on the premium of Unfold, but as I said, in the normal one there is still a decent amount of fonts and colors and just overall presets and layouts that you can choose from. Now, if you don't want to get Unfold, there's easy ways of creating nice stories on Instagram. I get a lot of questions doing this, so I just take a picture of a black background. I upload one of my recent images, and I just experiment basically to see what looks nice with the photos. So then I get the color pick tool, and then I hold down on the background to get the color to be that background, if that makes sense. I hope it did. And then from here, I just experiment and I play around with the image that I want to use, the layout of it. This is using no apps, by the way, you guys, just Instagram. So then I just type in new post, and from here it's literally just experimenting and playing around with what looks nice. So I make it really large, and then I make some text really small. I just juxtapose with the different sizes, layouts, the different fonts, and Instagram is literally a play field for me. Like, it's such a park. I love to play around with my stories and just make it look nice. And as you can see, I just added another photo because it looked a bit empty. You can bring the image to the front, bring it to the back, bring the text to the front or the back. You can add GIFs, like I'm going to show you guys how to do in a bit. You can do little doodles and swirls and just make it your own, basically. As you can see, I didn't like that color, so I went with black. But I just like to experiment with my stories and just make it my own, basically, guys. Just play around with it and have fun. So for this story, I just chose an image off Pinterest and made it the background, and then I added one of my recent photos again, made it in the center, and I just used the text like my recent and played around again with the color, the size, and the overall layout of the Instagram story just to make it look nice. And because the image is black and white and the background is colorful, I just wanted to juxtapose and just make it look appealing to the eye, I guess. So then you guys can also add GIFs, however you want to say it, don't come for me. But I just put drawing and I added these 3 hearts at the top on the image just to make it look a bit cute, just to spruce up a little bit. And then I didn't like the font that I used for the photos, so I just chose a different font. And Instagram has a bunch, so you guys aren't limited to what font to use. I'm going to give you guys another example of how I basically tell people that I have a new Instagram photo. I done the same thing. I made a specific color of my outfit, the background, just to make it look a bit cohesive and more aesthetically pleasing. Add the text new post, add a little clicker button just to make it cute, and this is just a really simple way of making your Instagram stories look nice without that much effort, basically. And I really love this photo that I took. It is a gin in the glass, guys, I can drink. But I just wanted to show you guys how you can make objects look nice as well. So I just wrote the text cheers, played around with the font, with the size, with the layout, added a bit of doodles, added wine, like a little cheers thing, and I put it in the corner, and that is the story, you guys. And then for this last example, I just got one of my recent photos, and I always do this. I just wrote new post and I copied and pasted it a million times, and I made it really small and I made it the background of the photo, basically. Really simple way of making your Instagram story really nice without doing the most. You can change the color, you can change the font, just change the style. You can add GIFs, you can add little doodles and little swirls, you can add your signature if you want, just to make your story look a bit more interesting to everybody else's. And that is how I edit my Instagram photos and my Instagram stories. You guys, don't forget to follow me on Instagram to see some of my stories, to get inspiration from it. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below some other videos you want to see, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Love you lots. Stay safe.